Hi everyone, my name is Luke Calip. I'm going to discuss my critical paper with you for EN 210 online, Professor Michelle Bednarzyk. Okay, for my introduction, I basically talked about how I did not know what literature meant in the beginning of the course. I I didn't do the first paper because I didn't know how to respond to that. Maybe I was being lazy, but I just didn't do it because I didn't know anything about literature. But if you ask me what is literature now, I can honestly answer that question in more than like 10 pages on about literature. Okay, the first section that relates to the human experience that I chose was The House on Mango Street. This one falls under Innocence and Experience by Cisneros. Cisneros. This this story was about a girl who would get her hopes up high because of her parents giving her empty promises. Well, that was the way I interpreted it. um, the house on Mango Street was basically about this girl who was living in a poor environment, and her parents would tell her something and then they would not keep up their end of the bargain. I chose that piece because it felt like it related to me when I was a child too. I would get my hopes up high as well and then get it shot down. An example would be like if I do good in school and then my parents would say, "Oh yeah, if you do good, okay, then we'll get you this toy that you really wanted." Apparently, sometimes you can't always afford the things that you want at that time. The next thematic section that I chose was the market economy. This one falls under the conformity and rebellion section. The market economy is basically talking about accepting something that you want, but in return, you'll have to receive something bad or a future problem in your life. When I read this poem, I thought about it like it's like making a deal with the devil. It's like you get to live longer, but then something bad would happen to like someone you love. That's the way I interpreted it. Okay. The reason why I chose this was because I had offerings pretty much the same way when I was a child. It's like I used to always whine for things that I wanted, and like for example, I wrote that I always wanted this video game, so I'll keep whining to my mom about it, and she said, "Okay, fine. If you get it, then we're not gonna sleep with the aircon on or anything for like a whole week or two because she's not gonna be able to pay her bills." So that's how I related to that poem. The next one was culture and identity. The piece that I chose was telephone conversation. This piece was about how this African lady was being discriminated over the telephone. That that's my interpretation. Um, I related that to my life in like many ways because people are always discriminating, they're stereotyping other cultures based on one person's behavior. Or even I do it sometimes, but I don't even realize it. It's like some people would see like white people acting stupid in public and then they'll think, oh, all white people are stupid. Another stereotype that I thought of was that like Filipinos, some people stereotype Filipinos because they're money hungry, but really they're just trying to conserve money. Everyone's trying to conserve money. Another stereotype that I experienced was some people talking about Chamorros. They say, oh, all Chamorros are rude and disrespectful. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that some people stereotype or discriminate based on one person's behavior in their race or their culture, and that's not really a fair judgment. The next thematic section that I wrote about was love and hate, and the piece that I chose was is love and art. Fromm talks about how love needs to be learned and practiced just like art in order for it to be perfect. Again, that was my interpretation. He uses art as his connection to love and the processes that need to be taken. And the first step, he quoted, the first step to take is to become aware that love is an art, just as living is an art. If we want to learn how to love, we must proceed in the same way we have to proceed if we want to learn any other art, say music, painting, etc. That related to my life was when I fell in love for the first time. The communication wasn't all there. Our personalities and beliefs were like bashing each other, and it's basically like in Pride, the winner who knocks the other person out of the ring is the winner in the argument. But later on, the more you communicate with other people, even with friendship, it's the same thing. Like the more you solve problems, the more better your intimacy level increases. Like your trust gets stronger, everything. You'll have more fun with that person. And yeah, that's it. The next one is the presence of death. In the Jilting and Granny Witherall, Porter talks about an old lady that dies. Granny Witherall dies with her children present in her house. I related to this piece of writing because I'd want the same type of death as Granny Witherall. She had all her children present and everyone was there during her death, and that's the type of death that I would want. It didn't say that she had like health issues or anything. It just says that she passed away when she was going to bed. Or that was my interpretation. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, my grandpa, however, didn't have the same type of death. A health he had a health issue before he passed away. That's why I really admire Granny Witherall's death because for one, all her children was there, and two, she had a good death. Well, it's not a good thing to die, but the way she died was good. All of the discussions, the plays, the stories, and the poems, they really help me to understand more about literature. Learning literature is not only looking out a window to see what is outside, but also looking out the window from different angles. Everyone sees things differently, and that's why literature is there to help you express the way you interpret things. One thing that I learned about in literature is that knowing a background about whatever the person that you're reading and the time frame that you read their poem, it'll help you understand more about the type of writing that they're using or the type of tone that they're trying to use. And that's it. That's about it. Thank you for watching my video.